It is everywhere. It is huge. It is powerful, and it's something that we're going to have to actually stand up and fight. And the problem is, of course, is that you've got most of America is docile and supine. They'll watch American Idol and The Simpsons, but they don't do much anymore. And so it's very difficult to speak truth to power. Our foundation, by the way, I hope you'll be mentioning this on the show also. We're on the web for people that want more at www.militaryreligiousfreedom.org. We're a nonprofit charity, and I think we were one of the first organizations to be nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for 2010. About a week after Obama won it, we received 2 nominations for the Peace Prize. And in putting it in perspective, of course, we were thrilled. We had no clue this was coming, but last year there were only 33 organizations nominated worldwide in the heaviest nomination year ever for the prize, and 172 individuals. Obviously, one of them was Obama. And this is something that the Nobel Peace Prize is supposed to focus on what is done to increase fraternity between nations. In addition to trying to protect our members of the military from being mercilessly proselytized, we're also trying to help stop the merciless proselytizing of the Pakistanis, the Afghans, and the Iraqis by our, again, fundamentalist Christian parachurch military corporate proselytizing complex. That is how we feel. We feel we are that close to this thing falling into, a coup. And in fact, my book is entitled "With God on Our Side: One Man's War Against an Evangelical Coup in America's Military."
And having read your book, Mikey, I'm first of all impressed that you would step into the breach, as it were, and begin this effort. It's hugely important, again, to those of us who sleep well at night because of the Constitution. But I'm getting back, and I know that the people that listen to this show, the people that read the magazine, are going to want to know, what about this coup? How could this actually happen in America? Now, to sort of frame this question, I read a book recently by a fellow who has a degree, a doctorate in divinity, and I won't go into all of that. But the reality of that situation is that he literally made the statement that the first commandment criminalizes idolatry. The First Amendment legalizes idolatry. And these people actually believe this stuff. This is something that I know I've written about in the past, but with the support of a civilian populace, 60% of which believe Jesus is going to return in their lifetime, the vast majority believe that, of these people believe that the Earth is 6,000 years old. The majority of these people unswervingly, as you mentioned, misguided patriotism, support the military. And if the military is in this position, it's not too hard to connect the dots and determine that very, very quickly we could be in a situation where we are living in the fundamentalist states of America. How could this happen?
Well, it's easy to happen. There's a million. We could talk about that for days. But Edmund Burke had it right. We've all heard it a million times, that all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for enough good men. Of course, he's not being PC there, to do nothing. And look. The ancient Jewish book of law is called the Talmud, right? And one of its major credos is silence is consent. It was actually said articulated far better by Martin Luther King Jr. when he stated that, will in the end we remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends, and there comes a time when silence becomes betrayal. You talked about the First Amendment and the First Commandment. I like to tell people, look, the First Commandment says you cannot have any other gods but me. The First Amendment says, oh, yes, you can. And there is the difference. Now, I tell people all the time, because you're asking about how could this happen in America. The people we fight, of course, believe that America was founded as a Christian nation. And you know what? We don't fight that anymore. They're right. America was, in fact, founded as a Christian nation. Pause. Pregnant pause. but not the United States of America. You can look at the Massachusetts Bay colony, where they had religious freedom. If you didn't believe their view of Jesus, you were free to leave. Then you have Roger Williams up in Rhode Island, who definitely tried very much to form something that would really serve as the basis for what Thomas Jefferson did in Virginia and elsewhere with regard to religious equanimity, making it clear that we're not going to judge your value as a human being based on your religious views. Because let's face it, particularly in the U.S. military, but if somebody believes that you lack honor, credibility, courage, integrity, character, honorability, and trustworthiness because of your chosen religious faith or lack thereof, well, there's no difference between that and telling someone that they're stupid because of the color of their skin. Now, this is like I said, this is a national security threat. How? We defeated fascists, the major fascists in 44 months in World War II, like Tojo, Hitler, and Mussolini, and we did it without becoming fascists ourselves. We apparently have become the American military, Christian, Taliban, and Al-Qaeda to defeat the Wahhabist, fundamentalist Islamic versions of the same. Now, people don't like hearing me say that, and that's too frickin' bad, because this is the truth. And as Orwell said, when you're faced with universal deceit, speaking the truth itself is a revolutionary act. Well, this is very hard. We don't train our young sailors, soldiers, Marines, and airmen, cadets, and midshipmen to be revolutionaries. They're supposed to salute smartly and follow lawful orders. If you're being even gently evangelized by your military superior, get the frickin' damn out of my face, sir or ma'am, is not an option for you. So they come to us, and we do it. We're militants. We are not Americans United, the ADL, or the ACLU, or anything else like that. We are, and many of those organizations are fine. We have a very close relationship with AU. We love Reverend Barry Lynn and others. We are militant. Our militancy is in support of the Constitution, and we deal in an America that has been severely dumbed down. And it makes me think about H.G. Wells' wonderful definition of civilization. Are you familiar with that one, Will?
Oh, yes.
Well, his definition of civilization is great, which is he's used it as a race between education and catastrophe. And this is the problem when we have young members of the military that are like 3-year-olds babbling at the dinner table when they raise their right hand and swear an oath, to the United States Constitution. They have no clue what they're talking about. There is no we now believe that at my alma mater, the Air Force Academy, there is one optional hour, an optional hour of instruction of the First Amendment in the 4 years that they're there. Now, it costs the American taxpayer between $350,000 to $400,000 to put a cadet through West Point or the Air Force Academy or a midshipman through Annapolis. There's a serious. This is a serious problem, right? Houston, we have a national security threat. And if we're trying to face this, one of my advisory board members is one of the top Islamic intellectuals in the world, Reza Aslan, who's written the book How to Win a Cosmic War. We are providing thousands upon thousands of a very fertile and fecund reservoir to develop propaganda tapes and videos, etc., for Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, the Mujahideen, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades, Islamic Jihad, the insurrectionists, the jihadists, what have you, because there's very little more we could possibly be doing to act as a greater accelerant and lubricant for already pissed off and angry young Islamic men and women in Jordan, Libya, Morocco, Syria, Egypt, to want to come and join the cause against us, because we look exactly like the 10th version of the 9 prior crusades, which began in the year 1096. To wit, our foundation stopped the 523rd Attack F-16 Squadron in the Air Force 3 years ago. The Air Force suddenly mothballed it. Their logos, they were called, by the way, the Crusaders. Their official Air Force logos emblazoned on the fuselage of their attack F-16s equipped to carry laser-guided nuclear and conventional weapons. The logo was on their flight suits. It was in their squadron. I kid you not, I can't make this up, a giant Crusader's helmet from the year 1096, the year of the First Crusade, surrounded by 3 yellow stars in the shape of a cross to represent the Trinity. To the left of the giant logo was a Crusader's broadsword. To the right was a giant crucifix. The level of stupidity here is unbelievable, except, see, it's willful ignorance. We have a lot of people that believe, again, that this is all, or remember, let's remember who we're fighting. We are not fighting Buddhists or Hindus or Muslims or Jews in the main. We've had slight little examples where we've actually had to go up against Jews and Catholics occasionally.